Hi everyone, and welcome to the Inside Guide podcast. My name is Marion, and my mission is to help you to empower your life and improve your relationship with yourself. Before we start, I want to thank you guys, as each week I see the podcast growing with more and more subscribers and listeners. So if you like the message that I try to share with the world, the best way to support it is to share the show with your friends, subscribe to it, or rate it 5 stars on iTunes. Thank you so much, and let's begin. Hi guys, and welcome to this new episode. It is the 12th episode, 4 tools to face the stress of uncertainty and keep faith. Can you believe that we are on the 12th episode? I just can't. Time flies, guys, I tell you what. So today I've been inspiring to do this episode as I was having my tea the other day, reading a board that Jason, my boyfriend, made, where it says, the rest is still unwritten. And I just love this sentence as it really helps me to keep faith in, humanity, the world, for everything. And I've always been a positive person. So today I want to share this positivity with you. I want you to leave this podcast with a sense of relief and faith in you and the future. So let's talk about uncertainty. What is it? Uncertainty is defined as a doubt and is often created on worries about the future. Generally, it's all, the negative aspects we can anticipate happening about an event or a situation. When we don't have enough information about the future and a feeling of lacking control, it makes completely perfect sense to be anxious. Anxiety makes us worry about the future so that we can plan for scenarios. This aspect increases our vigilance and activates the survivor brain or the fight or flight response in case we need to defend ourselves. So it's really important to recognize that this phenomenon, this mechanism is present in each of us. So I talk about this in the episode 3, episode 8, episode 10, and I will put all these links in the description. So uncertainty provokes anxiety for everyone, but not everyone is affected on the same scales. And what triggers the most in terms of uncertainty is the unknown. It's the fact that we are not able to control the future. So uncertainty is stressful for everyone, really. And today I want to share with you 4 tools that really helps me to face it and so you can react to it in a different way. The first tool is to shed light on the stories you're telling yourself and identify unproductive worries. Often, when we face uncertainty, we tend to cultivate stories in our mind. I will give you an example a bit later. And we have these 2 different worries. There's productive worries that will generally lead to actions that puts you in control of your environment. So for example, to make sure that you have enough water and enough food on a certain level, obviously, because again, some people are pushing a bit far. And unproductive worries, on the opposite, will strengthen anxiety and make you feel even more uncertain. And this leads to vicious cycle. So an example for that, it is to think about worst case scenarios. And I think we all do it. We all dwell on worst case scenarios. For example, you're supposed to have a conversation with your boss or with a friend, and most of the time the voice at the back of your head will kind of dwell on the worst case scenarios like, my boss will never agree for me to have a raise, or my friend will never understand and I'm gonna hurt her, or she's gonna cry, or whatever. And we don't want this, right? We don't want to have this voice to tell us those kinds of things. So what I encourage you to do when you feel that you start to be stressed about a situation, when you face uncertainty, Ask yourself, what is the story that I'm telling myself right now? What is the story that I have behind this situation? It's so important and it will help you a lot to develop this ability to observe your thoughts without being obsessive or feeling guilty. It takes a bit of time at the beginning, but I promise that it's really helpful. So, yeah, develop this ability to become an observer. The second step is to put your emotions on the side and look at facts in a neutral way. Often, and way too often, we let our emotions control the way we think and the way we act. If we manage to take a step back, to look at ourselves, to look at what we think, and most importantly, how we feel, the stories that we tell ourselves, we quickly realize that most of the time, 90% of those stories have been created by us. Again, it is the same example that I gave you a bit before. If I have to talk to my boss to have a raise, most of us we will imagine worst case scenarios. Oh, he's gonna fire me, he's gonna be angry or whatever. And why not start to imagine a better scenario for you? A scenario that feels good. You know, when you imagine it, when you think about it, you feel good, you feel relief, you feel empowered. So most of the time, we're dwelling worst case scenarios, even though it didn't happen yet. So what if you start to dwell best case scenarios? What would change? The third step is to reduce the dramas and reduce the way you perceive events. So when you can take enough perspective and put your emotions on the side, it's easier to reduce the dramas on any situation. Often, we perceive events in such a dramatic way. And I feel like it's important to realize that most of the time we are our own bullies. So it's important to recognize that we have our own bias and we have this tendency to exaggerate and overemphasize according to what we lived in the past, how we grew up, and all the negative situation we had to face. So don't get me wrong, I'm not here to tell you that you're suki, that you complain for nothing. Sometimes what you feel is real. But I also 100% believe and feel like it's so important to take a step back and put our emotions on the side because it is true that most of us are reacting too much with our emotions. Most of us really struggle to take this step back. And I feel like when you have a look at what's happening in the world at some moment with the worldwide pandemic, you can tell that we all react a lot with our emotions. And you know, it's okay, it's human, but if you're here right now listening to me, it's because you want to improve, you want to feel better, you are sensitive to your emotions, and you want to become a best version of yourself. So, the fourth step it is to work on acceptance. I know, easier said than done, right? But the truth is that acceptance is key to regain peace of mind. Accept that you can't have control over everything. And that is also why life is magic. Yes, the unknown can be very scary, but I feel like it's also an amazing way to learn and grow. We don't grow when we stay in our comfort zone. Remember, the rest is still unwritten and the best is yet to come. No one can predict the future. There's a lot of people that tries, but we might have a very good technology, we might predict a lot of things, and humans in general have this tendency to try to control everything and also for our safety, which is really good, but we still have a percentage of unknown that no one knows. And I feel like the more you practice acceptance, the fact that yes, sometimes we don't know and it's okay, the more you feel relief and the more you will face situation in another way. So, if we have to recap, the first step is really to develop self awareness, to become more aware of what's going on at the back of your mind. You know, that little voice that you have at the back of your head. You want it to support your life choices, you want it to support you, you want it to be a friend. You don't want it to be a bully that, constantly telling you, like, oh, this is not good, you're doing bad, feeling guilty, feeling stressed, telling you that the world will explode. I mean, some people, they really believe in all this kind of thing, and that's okay. But personally, I feel like I want to feel good. I want to have a good life. And of course, there's a lot of things that we don't know. Of course, that there's a lot of things that are happening, and it's not always for our best. But I really want to believe that I'm going to have a good life. I really want to trust in the future. I want to trust humanity, because if I don't have this trust, then I kind of think, what's the point of living? So, yeah, gain self awareness, put your emotions on the side, try to look at facts in neutral way, and try to reduce the dramas that are happening in your mind, and reduce the way you perceive events. And my last tip was to work on acceptance. So I just want to give you a few tips for you to keep faith. And what I want to tell you first is to start to focus on your possibilities instead of your fear. Really try to shift your point of view and try to cultivate the best case scenarios for your own sake. Cultivate things that makes you feel good. Even surround yourself with people that makes you feel good. Practice mindfulness, acceptance, live in the moment, and embrace the adventure of living. Enjoy the little things like writing, reading, whatever it is, relaxing in the sun, connect with people that you love. Because, when you obsess about a tomorrow you can't control, you're too busy judging what hasn't happened yet to fully experience what's happening right now. And I want to finish this episode with a quote from Eckhart Tolle. He said, sometimes letting go is an act of far greater power than defending or hanging on. So I hope that you liked this episode and that it helped you somehow. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it, and we see each other next week. If you listen to the Inside Guide, is that you know that you have an extraordinary life to live, a life that is meaningful and impactful. It is my mission and my passion to help you creating it. If you like the show, then you will love my coaching programs. I will guide you to gain clarity on what you want to achieve and what you need to do to take the perfect next step. I will help you to learn what to do so that your little voice in the back of your head supports your life choices, so you can start to be confident and to overcome obstacles, so you can feel yourself moving towards the life of your dreams. If you want to have more information, I encourage you to visit my website www.mariansanfilippo.com/coaching. The link is in the description.